Hi, this is Hedy again from Nanny's Italian Kitchen, and today I'm going to demonstrate for you how to make eggplant parmesan. I've already peeled and sliced an eggplant. Now, some people leave the skin on. I don't really like the skin on it. My mother used to leave the skin on, but to me it tastes bitter, whatever. So, before I get started, okay, so I've sliced the eggplant after I've peeled it, and I try to keep it like the same amount, about this here. And when I pick out the eggplants, I like to get the long, thin ones, because first of all, it's not too big, and second of all, the big ones have a lot of seeds in it, and none of us really like a lot of seeds in the eggplant. So this is a long, thin one. Now what I'm gonna do, eggplant has a lot of moisture in it. So in order to get the moisture out of the eggplant, you slice them, put them in a colander, and salt them on both sides. You put the salt. What the salt does is, the salt pulls the liquid out of the eggplant. Now you have to leave it here for about an hour. Put some paper towels or the dishcloth, whatever you have, on the bottom. And the salt, I'll show you when it's done in about an hour. You'll see that the water will be drained and the towel on the bottom will be wet. Now, when you have to take into consideration also that there's a lot of salt on here, so when you dry them, wipe them down a little bit, or it's going to be very salty. Okay, now I'll be back when the eggplants are ready to towel off the moisture. Okay, so these slices have been here about an hour. As you can see, the paper towel is saturated, and this is all coming out of the eggplant. All the water that's in the eggplant. Eggplants and zucchini are very similar. They're water-based. So what you're gonna do here is take them all out after about an hour, sometimes two, depends. And you're gonna dry them off, because don't forget, there's a lot of salt already on the eggplant. So you may not want to add too much salt, because then your eggplant, between the grated cheese and the rest of the stuff, it might be just too salty. So I take a towel, paper towel, put it on top, and make sure all the liquid is out. Now, if you don't want to do this, you don't have to do this. You don't have to take the water out. But I have to warn you that the eggplant might be soft and mushy, okay? So here, they're all dry. I tried to soak out as much salt as I can. And the next step is to egg and bread them. And when the rest of my eggplant is done, I'll be back. Hi, I'm back. Well, this is the eggplant that I have put in the colander to strain all the water out of it. And when all the water was out and the paper towel was saturated on the bottom, I took the eggplant out and I put it on a cloth towel. And when I had it all laid out, I took another towel, put it on top, and patted all the liquid off of it. And this is the end result. Now what I'm going to do is put the eggplant in the egg wash and then in the breadcrumbs. Years ago, my mother used to put it in flour, then the egg, then the breadcrumbs. It's a pain in the ass, to be perfectly honest, and I don't think it makes that much of a difference. So all these years when I'm making my chicken cutlets or whatever, I don't put it in flour. Maybe I'll do it with fish, but haven't made that in a while. So this is the process. Now I've got 6 eggs in here, slightly beaten, actually very beaten. And the bread here, the breadcrumbs, I've seasoned. I didn't put any salt in there, which I usually do, because like I said, I put salt on the eggplant when it was straining, and I don't want to over salt anything. When I fry it up, I'll taste it, and see. Actually, I should fry one up, taste it, and see how salty it is. So what I've done is I've cut up fresh parsley and grated cheese, and I put it in the breadcrumb mix. You can buy the seasoned Italian breadcrumbs, but my Aunt Camilla taught me, don't buy that, that's crap. So what I did was she told me how to season it myself, and I've done it ever since. I usually put salt, parsley, grated cheese, and I put some garlic powder in there to give it a little zing. I put in a handful of fresh parsley, about a half a cup to 3/4 a cup of grated cheese, whatever kind you like, and about a teaspoon of garlic powder. Normally I would put salt in there, but I'm not putting salt because I put a lot of salt on here to strain it out. So what we're going to do is dip the egg, take some off because you don't want little clops on there. Then put it in the breadcrumbs. Again. Okay, so you do this again and you go through the whole batch. You might need more than one dish. Make sure it's really covered. So when I'm finished with this, I'll have my plates here, and then I'll come back and we could fry them up and then we'll taste them. So if it's a little bit too salty there, when we put the sauce and the rest of the stuff, we won't add salt. I'll be back to fry them. Okay, so we got the oil ready. It's hot. As you can see, it starts to bubble. That's how you could test to see if the oil is hot enough. So we're gonna fry up these eggplants. And when they're done, we're gonna drain them on a paper towel. All you have to do is brown them on each side. You don't have to cook them very long because they're gonna cook in the oven too. I have 2 pots going here. I want to get done with this. They're not quite there. I don't have the oil up very, very high because I don't want them to burn. I have it on medium, but the high, you know, you can do it between medium, high. So when they're brown, you turn them over, and then when the other side is brown, you put them in here and you make layers. So you get the oil out of all of the eggplant. This is the last of it. All of the eggplants have been fried. And I'm going to enjoy this tomorrow because I won't be making it for a long time. It took me so long to make it, and the only reason that I did was because somebody on Nanny's Italian Kitchen requested it. But I like to keep everybody happy. But please, make it simple.
But it's worth the work.
It is worth the work, but it's a lot of work. Okay, now we'll go to the next stage. Okay, I have a Pyrex dish here. I like to cook in Pyrex because the heat is evenly distributed. The bottom gets brown, the top gets brown. I love cooking in Pyrex. So what we have here is a pound of mozzarella sliced, some pecorino romano, my marinara sauce, and the fried eggplants that have been drained on the towel. So what I do is put a layer of sauce on the bottom. I try not to put too much. You don't want to soak the eggplant so that it's like saturated. And this is more than enough. Maybe even a little bit too much, but this is what you do. You put that, the sauce down, and then you start putting your eggplant. You can overlap a little bit. I think I'm probably gonna get 2, maybe 3 layers out of this. I'm not quite sure, but however many you make is fine. Layer it over. those pieces are kind of small. But even so, here we go. I want to show you the first layer, but it's not hard. All you do is put the eggplant down, sprinkle it with some grated cheese, a layer of mozzarella, and a little bit of sauce. Not a lot of sauce. I don't like a lot of sauce. Okay, we're putting the mozzarella. Some guy in one of the videos said, or commented on one of my videos, said, "I love the way you say mozzarella." Well, that's the way you're supposed to say it, not mozzarella. Mozzarella. And you put some cheese. I tasted the eggplant, by the way. It wasn't that salty. Was it salty? No. No, because when you're sweating, it's called sweating. When you're sweating the eggplant, you put a lot of salt on it, and I just want to make sure that I don't over salt everything so that it's too salty. So I don't put tons of sauce. I don't like tons of sauce. Now here's the next layer. Okay, so here's the last layer. I'm putting the mozzarella on. And as I said before, I don't like to put too much sauce because then it gets, as we say in Italian, musciad. It's all mushy and not very nice. Okay, this is fine. Put a little bit of more sauce on it and it's done. Now I'm going to cook this tomorrow because I'm taking it with us when we visit these friends at the beach club, like I told you. So when I do the last of it, when it goes in the oven, now when it comes out of the oven and it's cold, I would cook it for at least an hour.
You mean the refrigerator?
Well, I mean when it's in the refrigerator, yes, I'm sorry. But if it's warm, it won't take an hour. It'll take like 45 minutes, 35 to 45 minutes. Okay, this is fine.
So if you put it in right now, it would be 35 to 45 minutes.
Yes.
If you put it in the refrigerator overnight,
It'll take at least an hour. Yeah, you gotta give it like 10 minutes to warm up. So that's the end result. And I'll see you in the morning, and I won't be having my wine in the morning. I don't have it usually for breakfast. So, bon appetit.